Okay, so I am recording. This is the Team on the Run call for Monday, February 27th, and I'm super excited. Devin, I'm guessing you're going to have a little bit of an intro when you talk to us. Tell us a little bit of your
Yeah.
story, maybe. Okay,
Yep.
but I'm still going to just introduce our speaker to you. Devin and I met we maybe have met before that at Super Saturdays, but I know for sure we hung out at
Yeah.
the New Leader Conference
Yep.
um, for the first time. And because she is a fellow Wisconsin coach, and we were in the New Leader Conference about this time last year out in California, and we just connected there. And she is a beautiful mama of two and a two-star diamond coach. She has been um, coaching since I'm reading this so I don't mess it up, March of 2014, but
Yep.
she has been a full-time coach since July of 2015. And she is going to talk to us about vision. And I don't know about you guys, but February has been a hard, very challenging month for me with this business. And so I think I could really use vision. So I'm guessing I'm not alone. Am I right? So I'm just so honored that Devin is taking time out of her busy schedule to talk with us because she's just such a joy to follow on social media, and she's a joy in real life. And I know that her positive energy is going to be what we need. So I will let her take it away.
Well, that was a really nice introduction. So thank you very much. It's always like awkward, kind of like hearing someone talk about you. It's like, but I really appreciate it. That was really nice. But yeah, Jessica and I we met last year, this time in California, and yeah, clicked right away, and fellow Wisconsin and Midwest person, fellow mama. So it's been fun to follow her too. So you guys have an awesome coach. Um, all right, so I'm gonna start and see if I can share my screen with you. I put together some slides just to kind of keep us on track so I don't ramble. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Can you guys see that okay? Good? Awesome. Okay. So as Jessica said, my name is Devin Hardel, and I am a lifetime two-star coach. I started in March of 2014. And when I started, I was a wife. I only had one kid at the time. My son was 1.5. And I was working full-time in the corporate world in insurance, writing medical insurance plans, which is really not exciting at all. If anyone loves insurance on this call, don't take offense to that. It's just me. But it was just, at that point in my life when I started, I just was kind of feeling stuck. So I'll give you a bit of my background on, why I got started, where I'm at now. And I'm not going to go into detail, but just to give you an idea of who I am. So that you know kind of where I'm coming from. So, like I said, when I first started coaching, my son was 1.5, and I was in a job. It paid the bills. We were living comfortably. I was Monday through Friday. I had the good hours, the benefits, the weekends off, that whole thing. But it just was not for me, and it wasn't where I saw myself. 10 years from that point, sitting in a desk in a cube in a building with no windows. I kind of was in that spot in my life where I'm a newer mom, and I'm struggling with my job and leaving my kid at daycare and trying to balance it all and stay in shape on top of it because I still had 15 pounds to lose from when I was pregnant. And I just was in a rut, I guess, when I first started coaching. So when I initially signed up, I signed up obviously to lose the baby weight, but in my mind, I knew I wanted to coach. Like I had followed my coach now, who's Marcia Smirka. I don't know if you guys follow her on social media or have seen her within or your timeline or anything, but she's my coach. And seeing her post on social media about working from home, and she had 4 kids, and she was going on these trips, and she was in great shape, and I just why can't I do that? So I signed up with that in the back of my mind, became a coach with Les Mills Pump, that program. I love that program, by the way. That's like my soulmate. But yes, I signed up with that program. I got really great results. In the first week, I dropped like 6 pounds, and I had been trying to lose like 15 for the year before that. So I was like mind blown. So that at that point, I knew it worked. I was passionate about the health and fitness side of things. And I knew that at that point, I wanted to move forward and just see if I could inspire other people the same way that I was inspired, and feel the same way that I was feeling, because I was feeling great. So that's where I started, and where me as a coach was born. So since then, like I said, I was working full time. So just working and putting in at the time I could to support my challengers, share my story, that whole thing. which you guys obviously know that's what you do as a coach. But, I was just kind of like putting it in where I could. And I got to the point where I realized the potential of this business was much more than just losing weight and feeling good. And when I realized that, I was like, okay, I was looking at my life and thinking, I don't like my job. I'm kind of stuck in this spot where I'm not really sure how to balance my time and, feel like I'm passionate about what I'm doing at work and not feeling guilty at the same time leaving my kids with daycare. So I knew that I wanted to quit my full-time job. And when I made that decision, that is when I got serious about it. And that is when I realized, like, I'm not going to waste my time with this. Like, I'm going to get serious about it. I'm going to commit myself to, advancing my business as fast as I can, because I wanted to get pregnant again, which I did in that time with my daughter. And I knew I didn't want to go back to work after she was born. So having that deadline in the beginning and knowing, like, by the way, so I started in March, I became Diamond that July, and then I got pregnant that August. So that was kind of my timeline of things. So when I got pregnant, I'm like, I'm not going back to work. So having that like set time frame really pushed me to just do the vital behaviors every single day and just do everything that I could in the mom cracks of my day. And I'm telling you guys, it wasn't like I spent a ton of time. It was 2, maybe 3 hours some days on this business, give or take, depending on what was going on. But doing that, I was able to build success fast. And I do honestly think the stars aligned for me a little bit in that time. But, it was just being consistent and putting in that work. But that was my vision at the time. So having that vision in front of me is what kept me going and what made me find that success fast and do what I needed to do. But once I reached that, I kind of like posted and I went into management mode, because when I had my daughter, I was kind of like at the point where I could quit my full-time job, but I wasn't quite there yet. But by the end of my maternity leave, I didn't go back to work. So that was something huge. And I was so proud of that and so excited about that. But for some reason, something in my mind switched. And I lost my vision because I had reached that huge goal that I worked for so long. And it was like, all right, I did it. I made it, like I'm there. And I didn't reevaluate my goals and I didn't reevaluate my vision. And I kind of lost that push because like I said, I met that huge goal that I went into thinking about all the time. So that is kind of my story in a nutshell. And, at that point when I quit my job, yeah, I was 2-star. And I was making a pretty great income. But like I said, because I had reached that goal, I lost the drive and I lost the consistency that I had up to that point. And I lost like the passion that I had with this business because I was just flying by the seat of my pants. So, and that's hard. That's hard to keep going every day when you don't have a clear vision. So that's kind of where I'm going to leave you at. And I'm going to go on with the rest of this call. But so that's why I wanted to talk to you about vision today, because my daughter is turning 2 in April. So it's been 2 years since I've been home basically. And in this time, there's been a lot of ups and downs and a lot of failures and a lot of hitting rock bottom basically. So I'm going to talk about that too. But that's my background in coaching kind of up to that point. So let me see here, make sure I'm not missing anything. All right. So I want to just start you with this. You can't have a big time business with a small mind. That is something that, when I kind of reached that rock bottom point, which for me, it was losing 2-star. I lost out. I worked really, really hard to work on the bonus again. I lost the bonus for the quarterly bonus. My income was going down. My coaches were quitting. I lost my stability basically with this business. And then I had that weight on my shoulders of, okay, like my business is not doing so hot. Now I've put our family at jeopardy because I'm not creating that income that got me to this point to start with. And now we're stressing about money again. And that is the reason why I went into this business, is to not stress about money. So, you have this guilt on you. And honestly, I let that drag me down for a really long time, like way too long before I snapped out of it. So, I guess the point with me saying that is like, sometimes it takes hitting rock bottom, and that's okay. Like you can fail and you can hit that rock bottom, because hitting rock bottom gives you that clear vision out, I think. it kind of makes you realize and kind of give you that gut check where it's like, okay, why am I here? Why did I get started with this in the first place? Have I lost that along the way? And do I need to reevaluate that to see what I need to do to move forward from this point? So if you're like on this call and you're feeling stuck, sometimes it just takes that gut check of just saying like, okay, am I still in this for the same reasons I started? And if not, like, do I need to find a new reason? Because you started this for a reason. You started this because you had a dream and a goal and a vision for this business. And if you haven't reached that goal, or if you've lost that vision, like, you need to find it again, because you're going to fizzle out and you're not going to move forward and you're not going to be able to help anybody because you don't know where you're going. So that was kind of my gut check, like reality, like, get your shit together, Devin moment. So, and like I said, it happens to us all. It happens to the best of us, but I do think it helps us learn and helps us, it makes us a better coach and a better leader because we've hit that point and we know how to move. If we can build ourselves back up, we can help others build themselves back up too. So I'm using it as a lesson for myself and as a learning point. But just know that vision is what's going to carry you through. So, this next one's okay. So get out of your own damn way. This quote that I heard today, like, when you're, with this business, you can have your ups and downs, you can have your successes, you can have everything going awesome and it feels super good and you get super motivated. But then you can have these times where nobody's saying yes and your coaches aren't showing up for, your team calls, or they're not commenting on your stuff in your team page, and they're not hitting Success Club. And, you can let that tear you down. You really, really can. Or you can just say, you know what, like, I'm just going to keep going and I'm going to keep showing up for them the way that I want them to show up for me. And that, that kind of mindset will get you out of that slump because you can't rely on anybody else but yourself to make this business move forward. So you have to just, like, that feeling of when things aren't going your way, then you start to not feel like doing the vital behaviors. You want to skip your workouts. You don't want to drink your shake. You don't want to post on social media. You don't want to message people. Things like that start to, like, sound horrible to do, or like sound not appealing, or you're not excited about it. But your feelings are lying to you because you started this for a reason. You started this because you have big goals. Maybe you started this because you do want to quit your job, or make it so your kids don't have to worry about lunch money every day, or take your family on a vacation they've never been on, or bring your mom to Mexico because she's never been out of the country. Like, you started these things for a reason, and your feelings, when you're feeling like not doing stuff, they're lying to you. They are completely lying to you because they don't realize why you started. They're just a moment. They're just like that, when you're looking at a donut and you're like, you really want that donut, but in the back of your mind, you're like, oh, I shouldn't do it. Like, that donut is your feelings, but that back of your mind is your vision. You have to just, like, take a second and realize, like, it might not be fun right now, and it might be really, really hard right now to message that last person or to send out those invites, but that's just right now. That's just in this moment. And if you can get past that moment and just take a deep breath and just push forward, the hard work and consistent you put in today is going to build you up for a better tomorrow. And if you stick with that and get through those slumps and those times where you're just like, I don't feel like it, if you stick with it, your tomorrow is going to start to blow your mind because it's consistency over time and the compound effect over time. And we've all heard that, obviously, but it's true. So don't listen to those feelings when they're telling you, like, you can skip today. I don't feel like it today. I'd rather watch, Scandal or whatever show you want to watch on TV. That you can still do those things, but just make sure you're staying consistent, because when you're not consistent, you can only go so far. Your short-term success can only bring you so far. You have to stay plugged in. Make sure. All right. So this is the point where you just get real with yourself and I mean, like, really real. Like, do you need to work on yourself? Do you need to start reading more personal development? Is the personal development you're reading what you need, or is it what someone else said that is a really good book to read? I think that is where I kind of got caught up with personal development in the beginning, is because it's always great to get suggestions from other coaches on what's good to read. But if you don't need a book on leadership, don't read a book on leadership. Or if you don't want to read something about feeling like you're badass, if you're already good there, don't read that. Like pick the stuff that makes you uncomfortable. Like for me, it's the leadership part. It's my leadership skills. It's how to relate to my coaches and figure out, the different personalities of my coaches and what they're going to respond to. Those are the things that I need to work on. But for so long, I was avoiding it because it wasn't like, I don't know, like it was hard because I had to work on it. It didn't come naturally to me. So I think you have to get really real and just kind of like say, you know what, like leadership skills aren't exciting. They're not like the 10X rule or you're a badass or like those fun pumped up books, but they're what I need. They're what I really need to move forward in this business and to become a better leader and a better person. So, get real with yourself and what you need. If I can preach that enough, that's it, because that was a game changer for me. For so long, I avoided meditation and listening to people that say, you know what, like if you just take 5 to 10 minutes a day to just be silent and meditate and think about your goals and your vision. And it doesn't have to be God that you think about if that's not your thing, but have something to believe in. If you take that time to be silent, like it really does help. But I was so closed off from that because I'm like, that sounds lame. I'm not going to sit in silence. I'm like a squirrel. I can't concentrate that long or sit there. Like my mind's going to be all over the place. But if you have an open mind and start trying these new things, you'll find what works for you, and that'll keep you excited with the business too. And you'll get kind of like that excitement and that passion again because it's new and exciting and you're feeling really good about it. All right, so do the work. So have an open mind and then feed it. So that, kind of falls back into the personal development too. But, you have to take it seriously. You have to make it so that you're not only doing it here and there and dabbling in things. Like if you commit to something, commit to something. When you make a commitment to something, you don't do it when you feel like it. You do it because you're committed to it every single day. So, if something on your to-do list is always being skipped, like, eat that frog, like do that thing first, commit to that thing first every single day, and then do the fun and easy stuff that comes to you. So like if you're me, that is the personal development. That's something I do skip every day or used to skip every day. That I was just saying, I'll get to it later. Well, then you don't get to it. So, you have to commit and do the work and do the hard work and know that it's not always going to be fun, but the payoff is going to be fun. It's work hard, play hard type of thing. So, let's see. I'm missing something. So personal development, meditation, prayer, faith, having faith too. And like I said, it doesn't have to be in God if that's not your thing, but have faith in something because, having faith is believing you'll reach the destination, even when you can't see that next step. And that's what this whole business is about. So if you can believe in something and be able to like plug into something like that, it's going to also help to get you through those hard times. And, for me, it was just taking the time, like I said, to meditate every day and to think about those things. And when I'm feeling stressed or like I don't know what direction to go in, just handing it over and just saying, you know what, like things are going to work out. I'm not going to let this stop me because I can't see the clear path right now. But I'm going to just keep going because eventually I will if I do. All right, so focus. Make a plan and then put on your blinders. So, we all follow coaches. We all follow successful coaches. My upline has Alyssa Showmaker, Melanie Mitro, Lindsay Matway, all these big coaches in it. And seeing that and then thinking about myself, I'm like, oh my gosh, like how am I ever going to get to where they are? And you know what, they're running all these ads on Facebook and they have a blog and they have a really successful YouTube channel and they're all over Snapchat and Instagram and their following's huge. And that can make you just want to curl up in a ball and cry, if you have big goals with this business, because if you're not where they're at, it's really hard to think about getting to where they're at. So, just make a plan and focus, like think of where you're at, what you can do right now and do it. And it might not be a ton right now, but eventually you can keep adding to that as you go and get comfortable and expand your personal development and work on yourself. Because like I said, if you can't have a big business with a small mind. So if right now, if you need to work on yourself and if you need more personal development, don't overwhelm yourself with trying to keep up with people that maybe have already put in 5 years of personal development on themselves. They're in a better spot. They're able to take that on. But if you're just starting, or if you're a year into this and you're not quite there yet mentally, that's okay. Like, it doesn't mean you're not going to get there, but take the time to put in the work, because if you don't, you're just going to be overwhelmed. You're going to be stressed and you're going to fall apart, because like I said, your mind won't be able to handle it. And that's one thing that I learned the hard way too, because I thought I could just cut corners with personal development, and I thought I could just like do everything and I would be fine. But it does come to a point where you just can't. Like, you just need more focus on yourself and more work on yourself to be able to handle those things. So I guess my biggest piece of advice in this part, if you're feeling overwhelmed or if you're feeling like you can't move forward, it's to make a plan based on what you can do right now and your schedule right now. But don't
the little one?
Don't make a small plan either. Like do like challenge yourself, but don't put too much on your to-do list that you can't like realistically you can't do that every day. Sorry, I can't talk. But just be real, be focused on that plan, and whatever your goals are, make sure your plan matches those goals, because you can't say you're going to be 15-star and then only send out 3 invites a day. So, be real with your plan. And then put those blinders on, and don't worry about the other people and the shiny objects and the coaches saying like, I did this and it really, really worked for me. And then thinking to yourself, well, I'm going to do that now. Give yourself some time with your plan. I don't know if you've read the 12-week year, but that is an awesome book, because if you do that book, it basically what it is make a plan like this and then do it consistently for 12 weeks and then see where you're at. And at that point, if it's working for you, great. If you feel like you can add more onto that, great. But give yourself some time with that plan before you ditch it, for one, because you need time with it. You need that consistency and that compound effect to take place. And 2, maybe it doesn't work, and then you can reevaluate at that time. But you need to make a plan, stick to it, and then give it some time, and put on those blinders, and don't derail from your plan. All right. So another thing that I heard today that I thought really, really fit with this call about, just finding your vision and finding your why with this business, and something I thought was a really, really cool way to just figure that out if maybe you're unsure of what your why is or unsure of what your vision is at this point. You just think of what you would want your eulogy to say. If you could pick what your eulogy said, and you could pick how your family viewed you, your kids, your spouse, your team, your mark on this world, at the end of your days, what do you want people to say about you? I know that's a really loaded question, like super overwhelming and super intimidating maybe to think about, but take some time to think about it and really think about it. Think about the people in your life, and like I said, how you want them to remember you, and that lasting impression that you want to leave with the people around you, and the legacy that you have, on this world. Like, what do you want your eulogy to say? And let that help you fuel your vision. Because I think that is not an easy way to figure it out, but it just makes you really think about what you want in this life and the direction that you're going. And if your direction right now is a little foggy, maybe it'll help clear it up. Maybe it'll help you realize like, okay, like I want these big things for my life and my family, but right now, like maybe I'm a little lost and maybe I'm not really sure how to get there, but I know that I want this. So I think that also too helps you just keep pushing forward and helps you realize like you have the tools right now. You have people that believe in you. Even if you don't believe in yourself, like I believe in you, your coach believes in you, you have that to start. And if you have that, and if you can keep going, and if you take the time to work on yourself, like you're going to eventually get there. I mean, it's inevitable. You will get to that point that you want to be, but you have to just be willing to work on yourself and have an open mind. And when things get a little weird or get a little stale, maybe in your business, taking that time to take a step back and do that gut check and, you know, ask yourself, like, am I doing what I need to do? Is what I'm spending my time on working? You know, is what I'm spending my time on making my life better? Am I letting, you know, my feelings kind of like fog my plan, fog my vision, fog my goals? You know, these short-term feelings, are they going to hurt my long-term goals? You know, thinking of things that way, I think puts things into perspective and makes you realize, like, you're here for a reason. You know, like, you signed up to be a coach and you're in this exact spot on this exact call for a reason. And maybe you're just a brand new coach. Maybe you've been a coach for 2 years, but whatever it is, like, you are here for a reason and you have something in you that is going to help change somebody's life. But you cannot do that unless you change yours first. So you have to take the time and you have to just really think about what you want. And, you know, I'm not going to go into detail on what I want, but, you know, just kind of in a nutshell, like I said, when I first started, it was to stay home with my daughter and when she was born. And I did. But don't stop there. Don't reach those goals and stop there. And I don't know if you've read the 10X rule, but this was kind of something that also changed. I love that book, by the way. Like, that book is like, it's like my soul book. I love that author. But anyways, you know, take your goals and then multiply them by 10. Like, if I would have stopped at just staying home with my daughter, like, you know, I wouldn't be coaching right now. I'd be like, all right, I'm out. But, you know, knowing that I reached that goal and I can do that just makes me know that I can keep pushing forward and reach bigger goals and dream bigger with this business. So, like I said, I'm not going to go into detail on my goals, but, you know, my next goal is to bring my husband home. Like, why not? You know, we've seen every ton of coaches do it. So that's where I'm headed next. But, you know, give yourself those points to work for and to help push you. Because if you don't have it, then you're, like I said, you're just going to be flying by the seat of your pants and losing steam, and you're not going to get to where you truly want to be. So I think that's all I have, I think. But I'll open it up for questions if anybody has any.
Devin, thank you. This was, I don't know if I speak for others on this call, but, you know, I've been doing this gig for 4.5 years, and it's such a roller coaster, and this was exactly what I needed to hear right now.
Oh,
exactly
thank you.
what
I'm
I
like
needed.
sweating. I was so nervous.
Oh my gosh, no. You were amazing. And this is exactly, I just needed this. I've been feeling so sorry for myself this month. And in particular, the last few days, actually.
Yeah.
And so I just needed a kick in the pants to refocus on my vision. And this was exactly what I needed. So thank you for speaking so candidly. And
yes, thank you very much.
Just offering us so much motivation and just being so real. Do you guys have questions? My team is usually really good with asking questions, so don't be shy. I know that Devin's really like open and easy to talk to.
I was going to say, I'm a complete open book. I will not sugarcoat things. I'll be real.
I have a question. This is
Yeah.
Carla.
Yay,
okay. So I know you said that you have like kind of a lot of the big names in your upline.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the biggest problems for me is, you know, as I continue on this, I get into more groups with my upline and just getting lost and like there's so many trainings and what to focus on. So do you have any tips on like where you really, I mean, I know the vital behaviors, but you know, when you're trying to grow to yourself, like how, do you have any tips on kind of how you decide what route to go? Like, I know sometimes I'm like, ooh, shiny thing, we're going to promote this and we're going to promote that. And I just can't keep my focus sometimes.
I guess for me, I actually was exactly the same. And I still kind of am, because I'm still working on it, trying to just like balance it all and pick what I need out of my upline basically. But that was the one thing I realized is we're all so lucky in having the uplines that we do and the training and the resources that we do, but it doesn't mean we have to use all of it. It doesn't mean that like we have to utilize every single thing they put out. So I think when you really take time to think about your vision and your goals, like think about those trainings and those groups and different things that they're offering. And if they help you reach your goal, great, do it. But if they don't, then don't do it. I found myself, I guess, I was really plugged into my upline and doing everything in the beginning, but I got very like overwhelmed that I ended up taking myself completely out, which I don't recommend either. I think there is a healthy balance with it. And I think the things that I struggled with was like, new coach training, those types of training groups are like push groups. And that's what I would plug into with my upline because it was all mapped out for me there. But I didn't need help with the challenge groups or running free groups or sneak peeks or things like that. Like that I was cool with my team. So I did my own thing with that, but just picked the things that I was struggling with to tie into. And sometimes it changes every month, I guess, what I need to tie into with my upline and doing all those things. But I think too, another thing is I think it's easy to say like, okay, I want to do all the stuff that they're doing or offering it all at the same time. But a lot of stuff is like recorded or, they save documents and files and things like that. So I just decided like, if I love something and I know I want to do it, it doesn't mean I have to do it right now. Like I can save it and just say like, at this point, maybe next week or in a couple weeks, I'll take the time to go through this. But I need to just at least get through the things I'm getting through right now. Otherwise I have all these like unfinished projects almost, like when you're doing things around the house, like if you're like me, you'll clean part of a room and then walk into another and start cleaning it. And then you're in another cleaning that, but nothing's finished. Like everything's kind of okay, but that's kind of how I was. So my tip, I guess, would be to write everything down that you want to do or that you want to tie into and look at your schedule and then maybe block out a half hour, depending on what your schedule looks like, or an hour to just like do that thing. But space it out in your month and don't feel like you have to do it all at once. I don't know if that helps, but
Yeah.
I liked your emphasis on paying attention to what you're struggling with and what you really need to focus on. Because I agree, Carla, it's overwhelming the amount of groups I'm in and where does my priority lie and what's going to move my business forward.
Yeah, absolutely.
Other questions, ladies? Otherwise, I'll pick Devin's brain, but I want to give you a chance because I can pick her brain anytime.
Yeah.
I want to give you a chance to ask questions if you have them.
Guys are out so quiet.
Devin, where are you finding coaches these days? That's my question for you. And I don't know if that's helpful to anybody else on here, but
for a while I was not finding them anywhere, just so you know.
No, that's honest, really, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
But yes, I've been really focusing on my challengers and really taking my challenge groups more seriously because I know a lot of our national wake-up calls have been kind of geared towards this the last few months too, but running effective challenge groups made it easy for me to talk about that coaching opportunity with somebody versus like a cold message or like reaching out to somebody I don't really know that well and just assuming they would be a good coach. So, as we all know, our best coaches are kind of our biggest surprises. Like the person that we think is going to do really well with it sometimes doesn't, but then the person that's kind of like the underdog does. So, I think the challenge groups help me find those kinds of people or the ones that really found the value in our groups. And, with me, I started running sneak peeks like once a week for a while there, even if I only had one person in it, but I would keep the same sneak peek open and I just keep adding people to it and not taking anybody out unless they want to or unless they sign up. But every week I would check in with my challengers and just mention the opportunity and say, if you don't mind, I'm just going to put you in my sneak peek. You can check it out. You don't have to do it, but at least you have the info. And that's helped me get people into my sneak peeks lately. But last month I did have 5 coaches sign up and this was like it was crazy. I hadn't had any months before that, just so you know. So it wasn't like, whatever, but, and it was honestly just from focusing on the challenge groups and my challengers. And I do run like I run my sneak peeks by myself, except for I do one with my team every month, like a team wide one. But then I just do the other ones just myself and just my challengers that I know, because I can speak more on a personal level with them and talk about more of like, I guess, the nitty gritty of coaching. I don't have to like generalize things as much. It's just kind of more of like a one-on-one convo that way. So that's helped. But yeah, I've done the Instagram thing. I do Facebook ads and things like that. And I guess I'm not there yet with those two resources as far as finding coaches, but yeah.
That makes complete sense. Other questions? Otherwise, I'm going to ask her another one. Is that okay? How do you deal with, I don't even know how to phrase this, coaches, and I know you for a fact you're there, coaches who decide that this isn't for them, or they're not interested in building a real business, or I don't like working coaches, finding working coaches. Are you guys feeling me? You know, like people who want more than just the discount, or who have a vision. How do you keep your chin up when you're just feeling really frustrated with that? Or am I making any sense, guys?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because I've had a lot of that when, like I said, I built myself to 2-star. I'm not there anymore. I've been hovering around diamond and 1-star because my team like basically fell apart within this last year. My rock star coach, I have Leah, but she's like my one rock star coach. I do have others that are active, but they're so up and down. And that was part of the reason that I kind of got into the funk that I did. And kind of let things go stale. It was because, you almost feel like you're doing everything that you can on your end to like help them and to support them and to show them the way, but they're not doing it. So you almost start second guessing yourself and thinking like, well, maybe my delivery isn't right, or maybe I'm not giving them the right resources, or, you really just second guess everything you're doing at that point. But I guess I would say that's where personal development helped me, for one, but just knowing like you can't change people, you can't make them see something they don't see. And if they don't see value in this, then maybe it's just not for them. Because you can say all the wrong things to the right person and they can be a really big success with this, so it's not you, it's them. And when I talk to those types of coaches that, have been on my team that maybe started off really, really strong and then just kind of lost their way, like I just let them know, and I have that real convo with them and just say, hey, I'm here for you when you need me and when you want to do this, but I can't hold your hand with this because you know what to do. Like I've led you to the water, like you just have to take that drink. But if you're not willing to take the drink, then like I can't do anything for you, because I really just can't. Like you can't force somebody to have passion with this, and you can't force somebody to just have bigger goals or to just keep staying consistent with what they're supposed to do, because it's just a waste of your time. Because if you have to hold their hand now, like you're always going to have to hold their hand, like you're always going to have to be there and just dragging them along. And then that's not fun. That's not fun for you either. And I think when you let go of people like that, it's like a huge weight lifted off your shoulders, even if it sucks to lose that coach, or if it sucks to have that rock star on your team fizzle out, like it does. But once you let go of that person and just move on and know, like, if I'm showing up for my business every day and if I'm always looking for new people to talk to, like I am going to come across another rock star, because I already did. It doesn't mean it's not going to happen again. So I think knowing that like those people are holding me back from finding the people that truly want to do this just helps, and keeps me excited that way. But I feel it's not fun.
Thank you. That helps. Yeah. Any other questions we have for Devin? Are you guys feeling fired up and like uplifted? Because I am. Awesome.
Yeah, I think this time of year it's hard for a lot of people, especially if you live in the Midwest. It's like it's cold and no one wants to go outside and do anything, and people get busy and it's just like hard to get people fired up and get people excited. But just know it's just a season. You know, it's like a season in your business. And that if you can get through the cold winters and the 10 feet of snow and, you know, get through those times and just keep pushing forward, like it's going to be nice out again. It's going to be summer and the sunshine's going to come back and the warmth is going to be there again. So it's just, I don't know, I think of things that way a lot and that helps.
That does help. This is all Midwestern ladies on this call right now. Actually.
Yeah.
So we get it. Well, Devin, I can't thank you enough for spending the time with us tonight. And I know that most of us, at least I really needed to hear this. So thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah. And I won't keep you, but I know that if you guys have questions, you can always shoot them Devin's way or let me know. And
absolutely.
Just thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much too, ladies. I really appreciate it, taking the time and hopping on. I love it.
All right. Well, thank you.
Yeah,
have a good night, and let's finish this month strong.
Yeah, one more day. We can do it.
All right. Bye, ladies.
Bye.